Okay, so it's always important to know when to stop spreading something and when to jump to a cut. As soon as you have gap, if you start to shear or you start to pull something you don't want to pull, rather than continuing to make a mess of it, leave the material intact so we can make a clean cut as opposed to multiple cuts and bring your cutter in. You're a lot more likely to shear with a combi tool than you are with a spreader because of the curve of the blades. They're very thin. So it's like trying to spread something heavy with two scalpels as opposed to two big wide dimension pieces of material. They just have a much higher likelihood of cutting through the metal. When Troy came in and made a great cut, made sure your tool applications were good. You spread from the inside out. You had a lot of resistance and a lot of very weak sheet metal. That is more and more and more prevalent on newer cars. They keep making the metal weaker and weaker and weaker on the body panels and making the attachment points stronger and stronger and stronger to structural reinforcement. Okay, we now want to make a single cut at the height of the B-post on the fold down. Once these two doors are blown, if we make the single cut, if the doors are heavy enough, a lot of times they'll let that B-post drift away from the roof line just because of the weight. If you make this cut and it doesn't, you may want to make a second cut just under it so you got enough of a pocket to get your spreader tips into that joint and start spreading that B-post down. Once your spreader is close to being maxed out, then you can come right in here with a ram. A lot of guys want to think that they've got to run their ram perpendicular to this post to get a good push. You can push at an angle. So not everybody has 4 rams or a tiny telescoping ram. You may have 2 or 3 different sizes and none of them may fit exactly in this range where your spreader's already at. The widest opening is going to be from the corner here or the corner here over to the B-post once it's extended down. You may catch the middle of the B-post, you may come a little bit lower on that B-post. Just get it started, and once you start to push, even though it's on an angle, you're gonna be surprised at how it's gonna basically take that ram and just kind of walk it in line and just continue to push that B down. Once your ram maxes out, is all you have to do is let a little bit of pressure off and then walk the head of your ram more center mass while you're withdrawing it. That's basically resetting it, condensing the distance for the push, and then hitting it again. Once you gain, go ahead and grab the ram. Always skin out your rubber seals or your weather stripping when you're running rams because they'll bite into the metal. Now, if you got a ram that's got a waffle head, okay, or a smooth head, you may need to compress this with a spreader to give it kind of a flat spot to push against. If you have angulated heads or point heads like this or piercing heads, they'll grab whatever you put them against. So we're gonna put one end up here in this corner. We're gonna get that other end down close to that B-post somewhere. Now stop. Make sure you don't load your doors, okay? If you load your doors, you're gonna start lifting the car. So when you go to push this, just give these a little upswing so they'll flatten out. Okay, buddy, go ahead. Watch your right foot. Good, you're maxed out. Now you can go ahead and release it and just move that more towards the center. Good. Now, if everybody comes up here and looks, go ahead and release it so it's not under compression. Now we got it down. Everybody see this pass right here? These are the spot welds and pass welds we're talking about. See how that one's popped? That one's popped. You got pass welds there, which are kind of unique. Typically that would just be a spot. You got more spots right there. Your B-post is now exposed for a relatively easy cut. You can completely see your seatbelt pretensioner, and the doors have drifted away from the bottom of the B, which gives you a gap to make that a real easy cut if you want to make that cut. If you don't, you can work right on top of this. You have full side access now.